Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Comms Noise, the Starwars Armada podcast. I'm Chris, and here with me today we've got
Matt.
I'm Ricky.
So you'll notice Ben isn't with us today, and in his chair we've got another Matt Cook, who would have liked to join us before, but he's off playing other games because he thinks they're better. So discuss.
Terrible.
So yeah, we've got a decent show for you today, decent lineup. We've got to talk a bit about Worlds. So a couple of weeks later than it actually happened. We watched it on the Twitch feed, but we're going to just run through. We saw the semi-final and the final, run through a bit of that, bit of our thoughts. There isn't too much to talk about for where that leaves the meta, because we've got, coming up in part 2, our thoughts on the Corellian conflict, which is going to change the meta both in terms of squadrons and objectives. And I'm sure Wave 5 will be hot on the heels, but we haven't got any further previews of that than we've had before. So yeah, we're going to start off talking about Worlds. First, Matt's just going to introduce himself as a new member of the podcast. Let us know his gaming background, what he likes, doesn't like about Armada.
So yeah, I'm Matt Cook. I play a fair bit of Armada. Also play a lot of X-Wing, and bits and pieces, lots of other stuff. Game background, I used to play a lot of computer games. Went to live in Dubai for a bit. We didn't have a computer, so got a big board gaming community out there. So played a lot of board games, played a lot of X-Wing, played a lot of everything out there. And I carried on when I came back. But no, when I really want to settle in and have a really good thought-out tactical game, Armada's the one I go for. And I'm really hoping Corellian conflict brings an even better balance to it. So we'll see how that goes.
And a great scenario, hopefully.
Yeah.
And some actual squadrons that you might need.
No.
You don't need squadrons.
You might actually use some squadrons.
If you want squadrons, play X-Wing.
It's going too far towards squadrons. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay.
So, well, on that note, Worlds, finals. So, we watched the Twitch feed, as some of you may have done out there, and we watched the first semi-final. So that was 2 Rebel lists. I think all the top 4 was Rebels, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So but the tweets that the FFG put out on their organised play thread said that the majority of lists were Imperial. They had Reimer. They had
pretty balanced, didn't you say?
Sorry,
I thought the list count was balanced, wasn't it?
I think it was 50% was of Imperial lists were Reimerable,
of course,
or more. But I think I don't know if it's. But I thought there were
a lot
more.
Recon on them.
Maybe as a split it was in total, but the actual number of build there was like 50 Reimer lists, 30 Demolisher lists, and then 10 TRC lists, and then all other stuff.
Most running Multi.
Yeah.
How do you classify like a Reimer pool
with Demolisher? Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
Like it can be a number of things, right? Yeah. Or are they just saying anything that includes?
If you've got Reimer, it's
now a Reimer ball. Yeah.
You've got the Reimer ball. I mean, as soon as you add like multiple fire sprays, it's fireball, isn't it? So I suppose that's the line. But
I've not seen a fireball in a long time, though. To be fair,
well, you have to have some try-hard who has 8 fire sprays. Don't you, Chris?
4 actually. 4 was enough to defeat you in the Southwest Regional Final. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's true.
I think that was changed from Bomber Commander.
See the trophy in the cabinet.
Yeah, there's the trophy right there, actually. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, Sparks cabinet.
Yeah. Anyway, Worlds. So the first game we saw, it was the Kraken list that Stephen from IFF, Intensify Forward Firepower podcast, took, and he won the Nova Open with it as well, I think, which is quite a big event in the US, so quite prestigious, and it's quite a tough list. We looked at this and were like, wow, that's hard to beat. 4 TRC 90s, I think it was a flotilla with Torin Farr, and 8 YT 2400s. 8, yeah. So
someone bought a lot of rogues.
Yeah. And
we kind of thought that was it for him. We thought that he had it in the bag with that.
It's a strong list.
So I'd happily play that
because you can run away. You can run away really quickly, and the TRCs are really tough to kill under Kraken at 3. The rogues can actually take little ships down on their own. Yeah. They can murder squadron things, and you don't need to activate them or push them. And he laid them out. He sort of deployed centrally, so facing forwards. But then I think because he was able to use the Corvette manoeuvrability to just deploy instantly into turn 1 into a little sort of conga line, and then he laid all the YTs out in front. And then up against that was a Recon list, which was Gallant Haven, Yavaris. I think it was 3 flotillas, and then a ton of aces. But
they were all aces, weren't they?
Yeah, but one of the things we've never played with, we played with all the aces, but he had Tycho, which we never really play with as well with Rican, which is awesome because you can pin stuff down and make them commit an intel to him, and he won't die for the whole turn. He's really hard to kill because of his scatter, but he still won't die because of Rican because he's a character squadron.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the other A-Wing character squadron later, but that's going to be a crazy combo with those two and Rican. Just pin anything down. Well, unless you've got 3 intels, you're going to be able to pin stuff down.
Counter 3.
Yeah, that's grim. I think she's going to be pretty. Although you don't have to actually shoot her, you just intel her. But at the same time, she's hard. Yeah, don't take her on.
She's the equivalent of.
Or just kill the ships and we get the fights for free.
That's your philosophy. Yeah. We'll come to that later. So I think the Gallant Haven Rican tactic was just charge forward, use Gallant Haven to protect your aces and fighters.
I remember I was watching it and I was thinking, TRC is brilliant. You've got the tools, you've got the manoeuvrability, and you've got the YT-2400s. They're great. You don't need to spot them with a ship. They run themselves. They can soak. They can jam. I thought it was his to lose.
Yeah, he threw the Mark II at it as well. He just threw it straight into all of them.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, what's he got to do? The only way I could see Yavaris get into that was just bundling straight into the conga line, and that's what he did. And fair play to him, it worked.
I just don't know how it lived.
Yeah, he killed the Rican player killed a couple of YTs, and then the Corvette guy tried to run away, Kraken, but. I don't quite know how he didn't kill the assault frigate. Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether it's obstructed or whether did he repair order or was he he
wasn't getting his double arcs. I don't think
repair. Yeah, maybe had to go too far to keep out of reach of Yavaris.
I think he was going. I think his conga was because it was a full conga. It wasn't offsetting at all.
Yeah,
I seem to remember it looked at least from the Twitch stream that he didn't have that many double arcs.
Right.
So there's always single arc with each one, which obviously halves the pipe out. It was a side arc as well.
Yeah.
So you're on 1 red die as opposed to that plus a 2 red die attack as well.
Yeah.
And the way he played, was it a hyperspace assault?
Yeah.
He had the 3 tokens and he managed to get one of them in.
Oh yeah, but he had less activations to start with.
He had less activations. I guess his plan was from the start to try and kill something and then bug out. But he never had the upper hand in terms of points because he lost those a couple of YTs, and that just set him back.
I guess that's the difference as well with these tournament games at the end because there's no points to worry about. It's just throw everything or
because we thought that,
get 1 point up and then you're
when we thought with the TLCs kill something and then just run everything away and then win 6-5.
Yeah, but he never had that kill, so he couldn't actually do that.
I can't remember the exact situation. But I thought it was weird where he brought the hyperspace assault in. Because it was at the back, but it wasn't in a position to chase. I mean, as you know, chasing doesn't work well in Armada at all.
No,
unless you've got the initiative, and even then it's sketchy.
Or Demolisher.
Well, yeah, Demolisher. Or if you want to play on easy mode, go for it. But, but I seem to recall that I saw the angle and thought, no, you've taken yourself out of the game, even though you're not really. There's not much threat to it there.
Yeah, it's
maybe there's more squadron projection than I thought.
Did we see what else were the missions? I didn't see what else they had to pick from.
Right.
Maybe they were worse.
Possibly. I know I quite often like picking hyperspace assault because I think a lot of people hate the idea of it and therefore they aren't practiced playing into it.
I think it can be one of the weaker ones, especially for that list, because it takes your activations away. It takes one of your activations out of the game.
You could bring it in after one round.
You can, you can. I don't know. I wouldn't want to second guess the tactics on that, but you're right. It didn't seem too effective really because it was kind of just skimming across the back. And all the stuff in the front was taking the damage from the other TLCs, so it was just kind of splitting the damage up.
I guess the thing with having Kraken was like you're great at avoiding damage from other ships, but the squadron list killed you because of the squadrons. So in that idea, he didn't really play. He couldn't play to his general strength, and he didn't play to the strength of the objective because it was hard.
Yeah, it was a hard objective against that, and that Rican list is absolutely solid as well.
Yeah,
my opinion, that's if you want to win a tournament, you need to be able to beat that list.
Well, and to be fair, I think it was probably a gamble, like a reasonable risk, because I think the Kraken player had to kill. He went for the assault frigate because he went, if I kill that, I've got enough points that I can lose a few squadrons and still edge it. So he went. Whereas if he kills a flotilla. And loses 2 YTs, he's still lost. So I think he went for it, and it just didn't come out. The dice didn't come out his way, or whatever. So
It was nice to see Gallant Haven as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
I guess maybe our meta, we just don't see that over here so much. But
and it was popular. It was popular because I think it was in the other list in the final.
I don't think he didn't have the
Was it
Gallant
not Gallant
Haven title,
Okay.
but it was
It wasn't a sort of
Mark
frigate.
II.
It was a B Mark II.
Yeah, there's talk of again. We'll talk about it later. But there's talk of shenanigans with that with Biggs. And when does it resolve? In what order? How do the rules trigger and stuff? But we'll come to that. Later. So, does anyone else have any recollections of that? It ended up with Riken winning. I think they timed out on turn 5, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they timed out on turn 5, and it was like 120 points to like 60 or something.
It's nice to see repainted Corvettes as well.
Oh yeah. Stephen, I listened to him a lot on the Intensify Forward Firepower podcast, and he's a really good painter, really keen enthusiast. I was really glad he got to the top 4. He's a great guy. He does a lot of thinking about it. Well, he twitches, and he's got a great game. He plays a lot. He knows it inside out. He's a really good player, a good thinker on it as well. So I was glad he got there, and I kind of did want him to go to the final. I know his list is like crazy good, but I did kind of want him to go to the final because Riken, my thoughts on Riken. It's easy mode, and I think actually, although he was
in the
sorry
in the opposing list with the
it was Haji-Virus.
Yeah.
I get so tired of playing.
It just had instead of like the way the setup we've seen with either the Defiance or the Admonition, he had Gallant Haven instead.
The thing about it is probably the
setup,
cheaper points, still tanky.
Well,
a lot of activations.
I think something you should look at when you're playing high level tournaments. If you've got like the list that you really like, so for example, Yavaris is very strong. It appears in Worlds. It's been strong here for quite a while.
Yeah,
you've got to be thinking, how do I beat another Yavaris list? So when I was running Big Akbar Gunline, I changed it up for the last time I ran it. I changed it up again to beat other Akbars as well.
Yeah.
But you sacrifice somewhere else. But
yeah, you're right, and that kind of hurts my head quite a lot. Trying to Riken v Riken.
How to out Riken with Riken.
It's painful.
Whoever's first.
Nothing. Well, at least you know that the rule change applies to everybody. Everything just dies at the end of the turn.
It'd be like a separate tracker,
except non-character squadrons.
So that happened at UK Nationals. I remember overseeing a game that was Riken versus Riken.
Yeah.
And it came down to... It was one turn where I looked at the board and thought, this guy's really up. And the turn ends and he takes off like an assault frigate and a corvette. All this stuff just leaves the table. I'm like, this guy's fucked. So,
that's hilarious.
I think if you're first or second or activations is probably going to be the decider of a Riken versus Riken.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time I came across Riken was playing against you. And I think you wiped you killed nothing, and you wiped my entire list of one activation.
Yeah.
Because you had one whole point.
I was still new with the list then as well.
Yeah. It was the last outing of my Akbar Gunline.
So
Akbar has
faded away.
Disappeared. Yeah,
that's a shame.
I'm sure we'll be back with
new
waves and So move on to the final. So this was you have the list there.
Yeah. So the
disgusting.
This was weird.
So the Riken went through to the final and off against General Dodonna in a assault frigate Mark II B with flight controllers, MC-30C with the Admonition, Ordnance Experts, H9s, and assault proton torpedoes. And then 3 flotillas, 1 Bright Hope with Torrent Fire and Bomber Command, 1 just Bomber Command, and 1 with Leia and Comsnet. And then the squadrons were 8 Y-Wings, 2 YT-1300s, and 2 Hawks. Mm-hmm. So, and that's bang on 400 points, so no bid.
Yeah. And the game was over pretty quickly because the lists both charged each other.
He gave in, didn't he? He surrendered in the end.
He lost everything. He lost. He had like a one. So Riken had like 1 flotilla left. I think the Riken player had a flotilla, and the Dodonna guy still had basically everything. He lost the Y-wing or something.
The Admonition came around the flank.
Admonition killed all the flotillas because I think just for anyone listening who doesn't know that combo, you've got the H9s, which means you can turn one of your dice with a hit into an accuracy. So you're going to get hits on blues.
Sounds like a waste.
It sounds like a waste, but if you're going to hit a flotilla and you've got 8 damage or 6 damage in your black pool, and they're going to flip a target token and take none, it really is not a waste to turn 6 damage into 5, which still kills them, and not let them flip that token.
Yeah.
So
Even
you're right.
bigger targets when you just take out that
Brace.
the brace. Yeah,
It's really good.
It's-
And the APTs is the one where if you get a crit, you you can resolve it. After defense tokens, and then you still get the damage as well, and it ignores the shield. So pretty. With the Donna, great because you can strike it lucky and get things that actually help you.
Shield failure. Wasn't
Shield
it?
failures or
takes place before damage applies. All of a sudden.
The one I've seen before that's nasty is firing an obstructed shot at somebody, doing that, and then getting the you can't fire at obstructed shots back, so they can't even fire back at you.
Yeah, especially with Kraken on the board. Like if you're running Kraken and you, that's a chance then to get give them that.
Yeah, but the Donna lets you pick a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, Donna's cheap as well.
Yeah,
I really like
Super
Donna.
cheap.
I really like him at the moment.
Again, another one that's not used that often. You don't really see it too often.
No, he generally gets taken because he's cheaper to get more points in, rather than for his
just get more shits in,
basically, just to get 10 points more upgrades.
Oh, more squadrons.
Or
More squadrons. One more squadron.
Yeah.
But 8 Y-Wings with 2 double bomber commands, so you're always ensuring
8
that
Y-Wings,
shit crit. Yeah,
I think that it was quite easy because the Recon guy just came straight across the board. The Y-Wings were able to go in for a bombing run without even needing the Hawks. So the Hawks just hid behind the ships. Then they were able to come out next turn and intel all of the things. And it was Gallant Haven, and they were going to take 1 less damage. But the Y-Wings just went, I don't care, I'm intelling, I'm just going to shoot you. Hit crit, bomber command, the Donna picking the crit that you want.
Double damage.
8 of them.
As often as possible, I guess, as well.
Just all like smashing one arc. It didn't last very long.
Did it survive one salvo of that?
I think it survived. Because they moved out. They moved out. 4 of them moved out with a commander, or 5 or 6 or something, and shot it and blew the shields off. And then all the squadrons moved in to pin them down, and then the Hawks just jumped out
and moved
and
again.
8 of them shot again and straight into the hull.
Yeah, and like you say, I think I remember him conceding after he'd lost his Gallant Haven and a couple of flotillas.
There's not much he could have done at that point.
Oh no, Yvaris was dead as well. I think Yvaris and then he Admonition killed Recon on the flotilla, and that was that.
But if you're gonna put your admiral on the smallest ship, there's a big trend for that, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
It's a big trend. People trying to put admirals off flotillas.
That is a big trend, yeah, especially with looping at the back. But the Admonition, I think he manoeuvred it really, really well. It was like hanging on the side, just to the side of the joust. Straight forward, and then it just actually went slowly. A lot of people just pile in, smash it in, and then come around the back. It went in at speed 2 and just kept turning, and it was able to turn the flank into the back of the flotillas, like where Recon was hiding. They just roll up the flotillas, kill the first one, and then kill Recon, and then it would have, had the game continued, it would have just gone straight through the other one as well. So
it would have been nice to have seen some other games of that list.
It would, yeah. But it seems super powerful. Like, it's got Admonition, amazing. Like that Y-wing thing is just nuts, and you probably can't run away from it because Admonition can give chase, I guess, and the assault frigate can go at speed 3 and take all the Y-wings along with it and blow you away with the Y-wings. So
I say it's going to be quite common to see a load of Y-wings from here, but it's going to change shortly, so we just don't know.
Yeah,
it's still going to be strong, but there may be something even stronger.
Yeah. So congratulations to all those guys who played, and particularly the winning list. I think it was all US guys in the final, wasn't it? Which was
yeah. I mean, it's
we won the net. We won the net runner. I don't know how to play net runner, so I can't take any pleasure in that.
Europe on the X-wing, so
yeah, Europe. Yeah, actually, UK got a guy into the semis, didn't we? Or was it quarters? The guy with the...
It was semis. I think, Ben.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, he had the Mandalorian.
Really nice guy. Really nice guy.
This thing.
I must have dodged him a few times in X-wing tournaments, like rejigging of the rounds and such.
Yeah. They were all good players, but I watched a bit of that. But yeah, so I think it was...
Enjoyed their Recon card as well.
Yeah, they're two Recon cards and their sheet. And their sheet of... I think, is it 12 you get on a sheet? I just bought one on eBay for £20, so like 12.
If it's 20, not cut straight,
200. Yeah, if it's not. Yeah.
Wait, did you bought a sheet of them?
No.
Right.
No, I didn't buy a sheet.
It's gonna shaggedy.
I could put the sheet down with my Admiral. It's like all 12. This is my Admiral. Yeah. No, I did not. So, but yeah, Fair bit of money in those prizes. I'm interested to see what card he designs as well. When they're all like,
it's weird because you kind of design a card looking backwards. Of course, the game is constantly evolving. So previous world champions and other games, they've had some cards that have come in and just done nothing.
Yeah, you must sign an NDA with them though, and they say, look, this is what's on the horizon, and you can have any of these options. Yeah, you go to them with an idea, and they go, well, yes, but we'll morph it into here, and we'll fit it in here.
Yeah, I think
it must work.
Let's think about Paul Heaver designing a card for the X-Wing. When he's like Boba Fett.
Yeah,
he's sort of they have a list of card names that are coming up. They haven't yet signed abilities to.
Okay,
so you kind of get to pick. Obviously, they've got to commission the artwork.
Yeah.
Etc. So actually,
did you say you get to be in the background as well?
Background?
That wasn't the.
No, that was in Magic the Gathering. In Magic the Gathering,
what
maybe they should do
tradition
that.
was. So Magic the Gathering started the tradition of designing a card.
Okay,
and the person who won had their face on the card. So like if you designed, so remember one of them, it was like Dark Confident, and it was like this cultist wizard guy, and the guy's face was the cultist wizard guy. So we were saying,
how bad is that? If they're like, oh, I've got this guy's face, we have to use it. What kind of card are we going to put it on?
Paul Heavers is
demonic spawn, or
Paul Heavers is under a Boba Fett helmet, so it doesn't matter. It could be him under Boba Fett, or it could not be.
Or is he the Aquilish getting squashed into the ground? It's hard to tell.
Who knows?
If he's listening, anti-intel. That is the one. It needs to be made.
Make a card that stops 8 Y-Wings, 2 Hawks.
Just something
and 3
cancels
Bomber
Intel out would be perfect. I think there just needs to be something to cancel Intel.
Interceptor's flight controller. Smack.
Doesn't always work.
Just kill everything.
Yeah, moving away. If it just made move away, it would be alright. But the fact you can still attack ships for it
it's tricky.
It just changes the game. It was needed though, because fighters before were you just dumped them both into each other and they just killed each other, and that was it.
You know,
I never got to actually do any bombing.
I used to get away with taking like 3 A-Wing squadrons and they jam everything for 2 turns. And that's half the fighting game gone.
Yeah.
For what? Yeah, nothing.
I think if it was an expensive little squadron that just made Intel irrelevant or something like that.
Well,
took away heavy.
That what Snipe is going to do?
Well, no, it's
in a way,
you shoot at it from a range.
Because at the moment, the problem with dealing with Intel is that you normally have to shoot the escort that's next to the Intel. But if you can snipe the Intel,
depends, because you can put the escorts in front and the Intel behind.
Yeah,
the only way you could get the Intel is if you had enough moves to jump all the way over
and then
the
snipe,
escorts, and then just shoot them normally, which is the case now anyway.
You don't even bring your Intel in until it's like the time.
I don't know. Yeah, I want to see though, because I think snipe will be.
It'll change
the
things
way
up
towards
a bit. It'll change things up a bit
to shoot Reimer.
Yeah,
to shoot the Intel.
Where we are with the meta right now is just 134 points of squadrons every time.
And it's not going to change. We know that squadrons are heavy on the
You can just put your Intel down and pile all your dice into the front of something and it dies.
Just think how many more ships you could have for 134 points.
and then the 134 points of bombers will kill those ships.
Yeah, sometimes.
And you might, if you're lucky, you might do a couple of hull damage. You might do a couple of AA damage on them. If you're lucky,
just kill the ships.
You might kill one bomber and get 9 points back. What's your MOV?
We are going into the second part. Of what we're talking about. Yeah.
Well, then we're talking about what the meta is after Worlds. Where does that leave Worlds? Where does Worlds leave the meta? But actually, it's kind of irrelevant because we've got new stuff coming up. But
we don't know what 5's coming with really, but it still comes with another set of fighters.
Yeah.
Very good fighters. A lot of cards are in Corellian conflict. So heavy squadron is not going to change for a while. Maybe that's the way it's going to be. It's just there's always going to be. You need a lot. You need the full.
Hoping that we'll come to this in the next part, which we're nearly at. But hoping that the new objectives might change.
Maybe
as well. Because a lot of the thing for me, not so much in wave 3 or 4, but in wave 2, one of the things that made the fighter list great, like the Rhyming Ball, was that there was a set of 3 objectives: precision strike, superior positions, and contested outposts.
You couldn't get away.
Basically, all 3 of them are terrible options for your opponent. So I used to just go second. They pick one. They're either 120 points down for contested outposts. Great. Any game you play where you're getting a 25% of the points head start is going to be hard to win. Precision strike, a terrible option for them.
Unless they also squadron heavy.
Unless they've also got squadron heavy. And then superior position's a terrible option for them. But
if they've got bombers, then it's just good for both. But then it's even playing field.
No, but superior positions deploy You see in all their deployment.
You see their deployment, but they still get the points from the shooting in the back.
Yeah, but if you have a Rhymable and they have 3 ships and 3 A-wings, or 4 A-wings, like if you got loads of rogue fireballs going around, just going to put 2 dice into their back in every shot, then
awful.
Yeah. So in summary, Worlds prove that fighters are awesome. Intel is
great.
A little bit too dominant, perhaps.
Recon didn't win.
Recon didn't win. Recon didn't win. That's interesting. Dodonna did actually. Yeah,
Dodonna won.
Said Dodonna would have won. That's good. But he did have 8 Y-wings.
8 Y-wings.
Can't really say it wasn't a squad.
Could have done with more, maybe 12.
So all right. We'll take a quick break and then we'll come back to look at some of the preview articles that FFG have released since we last were on the air.